Today, Mom's going to show us how to make homemade sausage. Let's go ahead and get started.
Today, whenever we go to the market, we see all kinds of different kinds of sausages that you can get. A lot of them will have maple flavoring in them. Some are called original. Some are hot. Some are spicy. Some has extra sage. But I'm going to show you today how I make my sausage. Now, you may think that it's a little pricey whenever you get it. What we're doing is starting out with a boneless Boston it's a shoulder pot roast in pork. And this one was about 5 pounds. I have measured out, it's going to be just a little bit over. I've got this scale. You can kind of eyeball it. The amount of meat is kind of where that it can be questionable as to how much you've got there. Just going to put this on there. And I've got just a tad over 2 pounds here. But that's okay because the spice seasoning it will be okay to go in there. You're kind of eyeballing it anyway. I've cut off what I wanted to make sausage out of. The other I will put back in the freezer, and I may use that for a pot roast, or we may bake it and use it for sandwiches, or just there's all kinds of things you can do with it, but you're not using the entire part. Now, when you look, you want something that's fatty. The fat in the meat is what is going to make your sausage more tender. The less fat you have, the more tough the sausage is going to be. Okay, I have finished cutting this up. Now, before I cut this up, I put it in the freezer for probably about half an hour, maybe a little bit longer, and it made it more solid. It makes it a lot easier to cut up. You want to cut it up according to the size of what your grinder has for a hole. And you're going to stuff several pieces in there. You don't want to put them in really tight. Just put them in where they're kind of loose. I have mixed my spices together, and my spices consist of 1 tablespoonful of table salt, half a tablespoonful of black pepper, 1.5 tablespoonfuls of sage, and if you really like sage, you can add up to another half of the tablespoonful, but it gets pretty strong. 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper, and half a tablespoonful of thyme. Now, you think that some of those small ones will not have much flavor, but like with the red pepper, it gives just enough to where that you get just a hint of hot, but it doesn't burn and it doesn't change the flavor of your meat. And the only way to do this is to mix it with your hands. So if you're squeamish with something like this, you probably don't want to give it a try. Okay, I've mixed this really well, and you want to look through it and make sure you don't see any big pieces of sage or pepper or anything that looks like it's not even out in there, or you get a big bite of that, and you don't want that. You want it to be nice and even. Now, you can make these whatever size that you want to. I'm going to make them, that's probably about a 2-inch ball. And I'm just going to shape that kind of with the palm of my hand out into a flattened disc. And you want that fairly flat because the meat, as it fries, it will expand some, and it will be a bigger one. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to freeze part of these, and you can put these in freezer paper and then put them all wrapped up in that freezer paper in a plastic bag and they will stay good in the freezer for up to 3 months. Now on your freezer paper, there's an inside and an outside to that paper. On the inside that you want to put your meat next to, you'll find it's a more shiny, slick look, whereas on the outside it's duller. You want that dull part on the outside. Then you're just going to lay your meat down there at the edge. Finish making your patties. Fold it over. And then bring it back over and make another row. Okay, whenever I have finished these, I have made 8 patties. And as you can see, they are about 3.5 to 4 inches across. I have 8 of those. I have meat that I'm going to make 2 more out of to save out. So you are looking at $15. It was $2.37 a pound. I ground up 2 pounds of this. So you're looking at less than $5 to make 10 3-inch patties of sausage. And how many meals will you get out of this? It depends on how well you like sausage and how many's in your family. For just 2 of us, I'm going to get 4 meals out of this one, and tomorrow morning I'm going to have sausage, pancakes, and syrup.